I was trying to do such an aesthetic opening, and then I realized I didn't clean my palette. You can see just the disgust when I put it down. But hello. Today I'm using almost 3-year-old Himi gouache. I haven't touched this in a while. I did a gouache piece before this piece that you're seeing here, but it was more like a warm-up piece and trying to figure it out because I've actually only used this gouache maybe 3 times. So yeah, this is like my 3rd time using it 2 years later. So the paints reactivated really nicely, except for one of the browns because it was literally, it looked like dirt that dries and crackles. That's what happened. So I mean, it still works, but I'll probably need to add more water and like slowly kind of revive it. But every other color revived really nicely. But about the piece, I started off with like a quick little almost watercolory background. I just watered down the paint a lot to kind of just get a base down to make it a little less intimidating. And then I just start going in with a bunch of greens, and I'm not gonna lie, this is not my favorite piece. Oh look, I cleaned the palette. Isn't that nice? So much prettier now. But it's not my favorite. I didn't feel like mixing colors on this piece. So they kind of all blend in. And it's just a very kind of like dark piece. I wish I would have added more highlights and more like yellowy greens and less cool greens. But it is what it is. It's a sketchbook, and there's my daughter helping me hold the page down. So 4-year-olds are so freaking cute. They are sweet, but she can also be a menace. But regardless, she was helping me, and I was helping her do her homework, which you see her sliding it in. She was being sweet and just wanting to spend time with me. But yeah, so this piece was, there's like that bridge in the middle, but it doesn't show through very well. I think I could have done much better. But towards this was like day 4 of working on it, and I was honestly over it. I wanted to just have it done, and I knew if I left it unfinished in my sketchbook, I'd be very upset about it. So I knew I had to finish it, but I also was just over it because it's a sketchbook piece and I didn't plan on doing anything with it, and it was driving me nuts. So towards this, I was not feeling it. But I think I could have done better. That's the thing. I could have done better on this. But yeah, so the gouache, once again, reactivated really nicely. The colors were really nice. I was struggling with the water because in the reference photo, the water looked like gray-green, and so did everything around it. So I had trouble making the water look like water and not just more plant life, I guess. So I did like the white highlights, and I think that did help a little bit, but could have been better. Everything in this could have been better, but I'm not very mad about it because, I mean, for a sketchbook piece, I think it's really nice, but I wouldn't want it outside of a sketchbook. I wouldn't frame it. There's some stuff in my sketchbook I would frame. This is not one of them, but it comes out nicely in the end. It kind of pulls together, and the more I look at it now, the less I dislike it. So yeah, and then here I am going in with, because this was kind of where most of the detailed foliage was, because in the back it's just kind of dark. Everything was very dark, and it made it hard to see, and which in turn made it hard to paint. So I was on the struggle bus a little bit, but it's okay. And I think these little yellow highlights just made it so much nicer. I love the little yellow highlights. I know it's so small and such a minute detail, but it might be my favorite part of pretty much this entire painting, which is saying something because there's a lot of stuff going on there. So the little details are probably my favorite. And then I was just kind of going in with these little details. But 2 years later, the gouache is really nice. I can't compare it to when I bought it because I didn't really use it when I bought it. I think I might have done a little hot air balloon basket, and that's it. And I didn't touch it for 2 years, but the texture is nice. It reactivated nicely. I think it took a little bit of trying to figure out the right consistency for it, but it ended up being fine. And look at that satisfying tape peel until I did that, until it ripped. But every other part was satisfying, and then the markers behind it, which sucks, but it was nice. So anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you have a nice day. Here's the spread. I love the spread. Thank you. Goodbye.